hear of fans who think that they have ownership of their idols, we often think about K-pop stans. This has been a subject that I, as a K-pop fan, have seen time and time again. Fellow fans thinking that they have the right to tell their idols what to do, to think, to say, and how to act. However, they are not the only ones. Even Billie Eilish said in her Netflix documentary, "Am I not allowed to have one bad day?" And she's human, so technically, yes, she should be allowed to have a bad day. But according to gossip magazines, reporters, and even certain fans who believe celebrities in general are supposed to never have a bad day, did not agree. So let's dive deeper and find out the reason for this.
Stop spilling the tea!
And drink the coffee. Bam 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 bam. Coffee. Bam ba 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 ba. Coffee. Dun 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 dun. Coffee. This is going to be a two-part series. The first half is going to be talking about how toxic fans can affect their idols, while part two is going to be talking about how toxic fans affect other fans. K-pop idols are subject to countless hours of training, recording, writing, interviews, photo shoots, ads, and performances, along with fan meet and greets, just to bring us the music we often enjoy along with the performances. However, despite wanting the loyalty of their fans, some fans take it a bit too far. K-pop idols are not just performers who have been training since a very young age, but are also representatives of their country, South Korea. As North Korea is known for having a very dangerous family of dictators who threatens nuclear war, South Korea instead is often associated with their music, aka K-pop, and all the K-pop groups who not only perform on stage but also give us a look into the fun, loving side of Korea. As such, they have to act accordingly and follow a very strict set of rules, from not drinking, smoking, using drugs, to even not dating, just to gain the loyalty of their fans from around the world and inside their own country. Fans who will go to just about any length to protect their reputation. As both a mom baby and an ex-VIP, I can confirm this, and even I have found myself being very protective of my idols, beyond just streaming and purchasing their music. One of the most toxic fans within K-pop fandoms are known as the Sung fans. They are a set of fans who will go to any link to get every bit of private information of their idols. Basically, they become stalkers and can be worse than the most gossip places. There are countless idols who have been placed in danger due to these quote-unquote fans, such as affecting their privacy, to a fan breaking into BTS's hotel room and licking their toilet. Just
That's disgusting!
to fans going to the length as far as getting onto stage and trying to kidnap their idols, such as what happened to T Young of SNSD. I am still honestly angered by this video. I think Ollie London is probably the most well-known Sasang fan, taking things to the extreme.
I had 18 surgeries, 2 look like Jimin, and I feel like I've nailed it. I'm almost there.
Despite popular belief, however, K-pop idols are not the only ones who experience these type of superfans. In 2009, Twilight star Robert Patterson was involved in a car accident due to a fan pushing him in front of a taxi. Beyonce was pulled down by a fan in Brazil in 2013, and in 2014, Sandra Bullock had to lock herself and her son in a bathroom while someone broke into their house, and later admitted it wasn't the first time. Even the Beatles had their dirty underwear stolen by fans who broke into their hotel rooms, and even one admits that she climbed through sewage just to see the band. Why? You people are disgusting. Beatle fans were even considered as a cult at one time, and John had to call out their fans by saying, quote, "Christianity will go on. It will vanish and shrink, and I needn't argue about that. I'm right, and I will be proved right. We're more popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Jesus was alright, but his discipline His disciples were thick and ordinary. It's them twisting it that ruins it for me. But even this ended up being taken out of context, and later John had to say this.
If it had said television is more popular than Jesus, I might have got away with it. But as I just happened to be talking to a friend, I used the word Beatles as a remote thing, not as what I think, as Beatles as though those other Beatles, like other people say us. I just said they are having more influence on kids and things than anything else, including Jesus. But I said it in that way, which is the wrong way. Yap, yap.
Well, some teenagers have said, have repeated your statements that the Beatles, I like the Beatles more than Jesus Christ. What do you think about that?
Well, originally I was pointing out that fact in reference to England, that we meant more to kids than Jesus did, or religion at that time. I wasn't knocking it or putting it down. I was just saying it as a fact. And it is true, especially more for England than here. But I'm not saying that we're better or greater or comparing us with Jesus Christ as a person or God as a thing or whatever it is. I just said what I said and it was wrong or was taken wrong, and now it's all this.
Eminem even admitted that he had to sell his first house because he didn't realize how far fans would be willing to go. But where does this ownership of idols come from? When I first started the research for this, I just simply put in the Google search engine, said, why are K-pop fans so obsessed with their idols? And I found 2 articles that tried to answer this question. The first claimed to go into the psychological, but instead was more of a rant, so I kind of ignored it. However, the user Annika Pipersaya, I really hope I said your name right, had this to say on the matter. Those possessive fans are mostly teenagers, not adults. Teenagers are young kids who doesn't have to worry about earning money, or they aren't that occupied by the way of adult or a person who's earning or raising family has. Mostly when you are a teenager, you are not aware of the reality of how hard it is to earn money or to make a career, or no idea how the relationships are. Hence, we create several thoughts in our brain because we don't have any reality check. Hence, we start to assume things. All the feelings get washed away when we start getting occupied seriously, when we have more real exposures. And we start to understand that this is reality, not the one coming into my head. I'm not discouraging because anything can happen at the end of the day, but I'm just saying what mostly happens. If you would check videos on YouTube, especially of Korean people, then they always keep on saying that most of them are not even into K-pop that much. They always raise this fact that teenagers goes deep into K-pop, but when you grow up, you understand that you've to make career, and then you certainly lose interest. Also, we grow up, you realize that it's not the reality, it's just going into your head, and therefore not to engage much time on K-pop, instead build career. Also, the toxic fans come out reflects the immature behavior of teenagers because adults are aware of the consequences. If you doubt this, then you can check those videos available on YouTube where Koreans themselves are admitting to these facts. In fact, it is quite logical. I don't know why I had so much try up with saying that. In fact, it is quite logical. When I was a teenager, I do have dreams to date Wanalo or ex-hoes Suho. But now I love them the same way as I did then, but now I know that I hardly have a chances to meet them. Dating is quite far. Which I agree, I used to have dreams of dating G-Dragon. It's not like it is impossible, it is just very far from reality. Good luck! Which I have to agree, however, in my own personal experiences, I've actually... Goodbye, truck. In my own personal experiences, I've actually had more of an experience with older toxic fans who are close to my age, if not older. And I'm almost 30. So I have actually had very few teenage fans I've dealt with in a toxic way. Most of the ones I've dealt with tend to be in their 20s and 30s. And some of them are even in their 40s. So I can see where this user is coming from, but also in my own experiences, I've had different experiences. So everyone has their own experience. Although this is true, many K-pop fans usually start off as teenagers, though I've met some K-pop stans like myself who still love K-pop but also have a life outside of our K-pop and understand, despite wishful thinking, it's an extremely slim chance we would end up with these people, much less meet them. Which, do hope to someday meet Monster X and Mono, but is there a psychological reason why we become obsessed with celebrities and idols? Actually, yes.
Don't we all have that friend who's written a little bit of self-insert Harry Potter fanfic, like where they're part of the story, and who can blame them? Who wouldn't want to hang out with everyone in the wizarding world? Or maybe Harry Potter's not your thing. Maybe you casually call Dan Howell your boyfriend, or you talk about Beyonce as if you just got off the phone with her. It doesn't matter who it is, we all do it. Even if it's just in our heads. But why? Why do we get crushes on celebrities or on fictional characters and feel like we're friends with people that we don't know at all? These are called parasocial relationships. They're one-sided, unreciprocated relationships with people we don't actually know, from YouTubers to characters on Doctor Who. But I'm not here to tell you that they're not real. In fact, maybe we don't give them enough credit. The thing is, many psychologists think parasocial relationships are usually good for us. A couple studies in 2008 suggested that they can give us a boost when we're lonely and make rejection sting less. And according to a 2007 study, they can increase our feelings of empathy and make us feel more comfortable talking about ourselves or sharing secrets. Parasocial breakups, say when a character is killed off in a show or a celebrity dies, can make us feel real grief. We tend to push this kind of grief aside or think of it as silly. Research on how people responded to the death of Princess Diana suggests that many were surprised and confused by how upset they were, but the emotions that come from parasocial relationships are real. Because there's no risk of rejection in these one-sided relationships, scientists used to think that they had psychological causes like loneliness, introversion, or neurosis. Parasocial relationships could be safe spaces, they thought, for people who weren't as good at forming two-sided relationships. But they couldn't find any evidence to support those ideas. Everyone seemed to form them, which led psychologists to a different hypothesis, that it's just a natural, altruistic human tendency to try to form relationships regardless of the distance between us and the other person. All of this suggests that parasocial relationships are a sort of extension of social ones, and they might form because of similar reasons. A 1989 study of students' relationships to soap opera characters took a look at two theories of interpersonal relationships, the uncertainty reduction theory and the personal construct theory. The uncertainty reduction theory says that we actively seek out information to reduce uncertainty, and that as uncertainty goes down, liking goes up. So knowing someone better and being able to predict what they'll do next makes us like them more. The personal construct theory says that we understand other people through lots of different constructs. So when we think of someone, we might have a sense of where they are on a scale from excitable to chill, that's one construct, or wary to gullible, that's another. Like say you have a friend who always goes to the same place for brunch and orders the exact same thing every time. After spending enough time with him, maybe you'll recognize that even taking tiny risks makes him nervous. As you build a more complex understanding of him, you're better able to get and maybe even predict what he'll do and why. And according to these theories, that might mean you will like him more. To study these theories, 105 students were asked to complete questionnaires about real acquaintances and soap opera characters that they liked and disliked. The researchers found that for both the social and parasocial relationships, having more constructs about someone and predicting their behavior better were both linked to how much the students liked them. And if parasocial relationships are all about getting to know someone better, then the world we live in today is particularly well suited for them. Know that it's okay for these relationships to feel real. Feeling strongly about people you don't know does not make you weird, it's just a quirk of being human.
Companies take full advantage of these psychological reasons, which is part of the reason why K-pop fans have become a little extra. I'm sorry, I can't. You guys are fucking disgusting. K-pop idols are not allowed to be in a relationship or look like they're in a relationship because they're supposed to be in a relationship with their fans. And when they do come out as being in a relationship with someone, 9 times out of 10, they are forced to retire, not by the company, but by their fans. This has allowed K-pop to take over a lot of the music industry due to having extremely loyal fan bases who would go to just about any bounds and length to have their idols discovered and loved. Though some may disagree, idols can become a part of someone's family and even be a place of comfort and advice.
부모님이 제가 동성애자이기 때문에 저를 지지하지 않습니다. 어떻게 해야 하는지. 몸베베가 동성애자인데 부모님이 자기 지지해주지 않는 거예요. 근데 그거는 부딪혀야 되는 부분인 것 같다. 만약에 그러면 그러니까 부모님이 처음부터 이렇게 지지를 바로 해주시면은 좋은데 또 이제 부모님이 만약에 지지를 못 해주시면은 부딪혀 나가야지. 그리고 이겨내야지. 그럼 만약에 부모님이 어떻게 말을 하는지는 모르겠지만 부모님이 믿어주실 때까지 아니면은 사실 이해라고 할 것도 없지만 또 이제 사람마다 생각이 다르니까 부모님께서 만약에 이해를 못 하신다면은 이해하실 수 있게 부딪히는 수밖에 없는 것 같아요.
뭐든 어떤 상황이든 자기가 생각하는 대로가 맞다고 생각하고 무엇이든 그냥
Chan, what should I do when I'm on that day? Supposedly knowing for those people who are on that day, it's always good to keep your stomach warm. Have some sweets, get some chocolate, watch a movie, and I hope that helps with the pain going away. I think that's all I can do to help out.
But even though some fans may not like this, this may be the only place that fans like this have a place to turn to. By the way, if anyone ever needs someone to talk to, my DMs are always open. Because these people are a place of comfort, this can also lead some fans to only want to see positives and support instead of listening to their idols talking about them having a bad day, which I can understand. For me, Monster X is a place of support. It is a place of comfort. And it's nice to just sit back and be a fangirl instead of dealing with all the hardships, especially when I've had a really bad day. And honestly, it hurts when you get to see your idol has gone live and you get all excited, only to have them come on and talk about how fans have gotten a hold of their own personal number and that they can't even sleep unless they turn off their phone because it's constantly going off. I remember one particular morning, my idol Wano came on live and I got super excited. And, I've been learning Korean. So a lot of times I'll listen to their V-Lives just to, practice my Korean. And he got on and he started talking about how fans had gotten a hold of his number. And at first I wasn't sure if I was translating it correctly. And then later I did have it proven that yes, he was talking about fans who got a hold of his number and he was having to turn it off. And this wasn't the first time he had gone on and discussed this. This wasn't the first time it had happened. In fact, one of his first V-Lives coming back from his long, almost year-long hiatus, a fan called him during the V-Live and he answered it, immediately hung it up, and told his fans that you are not a true fan of mine if you do such a thing. And I have always respected both Monster X and Wano, both when they were in the same group and now that they've gone separate ways, because they are willing to show us when they are having a bad day, and they will be open with us fans, and sometimes seeing your idol gain through hard times can be very inspirational. As someone who struggles with anxiety and depression and PTSD, I really appreciated it when Johanny took a hiatus and was open about his mental health and basically ignored the haters who claimed that he was just wanting it for attention. Seeing him also making a comeback extremely strongly was also very inspirational for someone like myself who, as a fellow artist, I've always worried my anxiety, depression, PTSD will prevent me from being successful. And getting to see Johnny coming back so strongly was a huge inspiration for me and gave me a lot of hope. BM from Card is another idol who I have respected for not only his bluntness and honesty, but just the truth he talks about when it comes to life. He has openly admitted multiple times he has had girlfriends. And talks about his ex relationships. And that's also nice. Which, honestly, if you ever get a chance, check out his mindset, because it not only shows his own personality, but can also be very inspiring and uplifting. Seeing that your celebrity has made it through hard times can be a way of support for their fans. I've always appreciated idols such as Lady Gaga opening up about her health issues, artists talking about their depression, their struggles with stalkers and haters, but I also understand some people may think that if they meet the same status as their celebrities and idols, they will never have to deal with the harshness of life, but that is honestly really unrealistic. Life is life. It will always be filled with ups and downs. No amount of fame and money will solve that issue. Also, you are more than welcome to share your stories in the comments, whether that is about a celebrity or your own personal experiences you have had with similar issues. And keep an eye out for part 2. See you soon, my sweeties. Hey guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content and to help with the algorithm. Also, don't forget to comment your own personal experiences and stories, and if you have any ideas for future videos, you can always reach out to me here on my DMs and my social media accounts or my email. I also do a lot of my updates for my channels on those accounts too, so you can always know what I am up to.